Hello and welcome to the TWA podcast. This is Jake Pugh. It's been some time since we've been in any sort of contact, actually. So it's really good to finally hear that there could be some positivity going out there with just a recent announcement that the country could slowly be going back to normal in some capacity. So it looks like, hopefully, fingers crossed, we might actually be able to get some wrestling back on later on in the year. We don't exactly know when, but there could be a chance that round about at least the summertime by the earliest. We hope so anyway. We hope that you've all been doing safe. It's been very busy at the TWA headquarters, getting ready to plan the return of the Wrestling Alliance. Lots of conversations with the promoter, Scott Conway. We'll be getting Scott on the show eventually to talk about the future of the TWA as well as great memories from the past. And even though the show drops in and out every now and again, we will be getting some guests on. But for my guest for this episode, we have the 20-year veteran known as Kris K. Kris K is the promoter of the SWF, based down in Southampton. And Kris has actually got his career started, his in-ring career started with the TWA, as a matter of fact. So he's got some great memories to share about that. We also go into detail about his partnership with Kapow Wrestling, which is based just further down the road to where he is, and his plans and ambitions for the future. So it's great to hear from you all again. So please sit back, relax, and enjoy this interview with the one and only Kris K. Okay, so my guest at this time is none other than Kris K. Kris, how are you?
Hello, mate. You all right?
I'm very well, thank you. How are you, sir?
Yeah, really good, thank you. Very good.
How are you finding everything during this whole pandemic at the moment? Luckily, we've just, last Monday, we've just had some confirmation that there might be some light at the end of the tunnel.
Oh, let's hope so, mate. Let's hope so. I'm in my real job, I'm a key worker. I work in the food industry, so I've been working ever since the beginning of any of lockdowns. So no time off for me. Missed a fair few holidays, but it's to be expected. But kept the country fed, so we're all good.
Absolutely, same here. I've been in exactly the same situation, actually. I've been working throughout this whole thing. So it's funny, actually, being away from wrestling for a little while. It felt maybe a bit of a break from it all was maybe what I felt like I needed. But then as the more time has gone on for nearly a year now, it's crazy to think that this whole thing has been going on for a year now. I think we're all eager to get back to it now, aren't we?
I was just everyone's sort of sharing on their Facebook page. I mean, we're on the 3rd of March, the 2nd of March now. The 28th of February last year was my very last show. You know, sold out Gosport and Lee Bamber and Blondie Barrett and Johnny Kidd keep telling me it was a year ago since we've done this. It was our very last show, and although it's gone quite quick, I think we just miss it, don't we? We want to be back out there. We want to be back out there.
Absolutely. So, how did you get started in wrestling in the first place?
Right, yeah. Well, my godfather Peter J was a World of Sport referee.
Right. Okay.
And my dad was a second. For Dale Martins mainly, and they owned the ring. And whenever I was allowed to go when I was a young lad. I used to go help put the ring up at Weymouth and Bognor and all these sort of places, and Addleston and all over the show. And I used to get in the ring once the ring was up, and a few of the lads, mainly people like Johnny Wilson, Mel Sanders, Steve Gray, used to sort of come in and throw us about. I had the bug for it. I've been brought up with wrestling. I've got pictures of me being held at the age of 1 by Johnny Elijah at Fareham and Haystacks and all them sort of people.
Wow.
So it's been in my blood really. I've been in it since I was age 1. When I was old enough to sort of take a few bumps and things, Mal Sanders and Johnny Wilson, and incidentally my old gym in Gosport, Johnny and Peter Wilson. Used to go to there, and I had a ring there, and they used to come in and show us the ropes and all that sort of stuff, and really sort of got me up sharp for it. So that's pretty much where it was, mate.
How was it going into the dressing rooms at the time? Obviously, if you look back on like wrestlers now compared to the World of Sport era, it's quite an intimidating locker room to walk into, especially when you're in there with the likes, as you said, like Mal Sanders, Steve Gray, Giant Haystacks, even people like Skull Murphy. It must have been
Yeah, no,
Must be
definitely.
traumatizing.
It was, but I was. In some respects, I was lucky. Obviously, with my godfather being a referee, everyone knew me. As I say, Mel Sanders has known me since I was 2 or 3, and all these guys. So actually, I've grown up with these guys. When I used to do seconds as well down in Weymouth, before I could actually do wrestling, Big Daddy, and I was the second to Haystacks, second to Nagasaki. I'll say that Nagasaki that knew me, they didn't, but obviously Big Daddy did towards it because I was there every week, and Big Daddy was at Weymouth most weeks. And George, one of our ring crew, used to sell all the Big Daddy merchandise down at Weymouth, and so actually, the likes of Mal Sanders, who talk to me most weeks. I even had a call from Mal Sanders last night when Southampton lost. He always rings me up when we lose the football, taking the mick. But I get on really, really well with these guys. Johnny Kidd, Blondie Barrett. I've had hundreds of matches with Blondie Barrett. All them sort of guys who really helped me, and I owe my life to them, and I respect them guys. I respect everyone that's in the wrestling business. But obviously, maximum respect for all these World of Sport guys, because to be fair, without them, we probably wouldn't be where we are.
No, that's absolutely. I agree with that as well. How long was it? Would you say? Was it between? Obviously, you said you've been around it for most of your life. How long was it from when you actually got in there and actually had your first official match?
Well, I made my debut at the age of 13 for the Wrestling Alliance in Wick Ferry in Poole as a holiday camp. It was just every Sunday we were there, and Scott Conway, the owner of the TWA, sort of said, we'll give you a go today, and he put me on with Adrian Finch, and I was sunburnt, and Adrian Finch took advantage of that. Then the following week he put me on with Big John Prater. It was just like 50 people watching, but it was a good learning curve. And then I moved on to Premier Promotions, who we'd done all the ring jobs for. Every Premier show was our ring, and John Freeman wanted to use me from the start. So I guess you could probably say my official debut actually was the 11th of August 1996. So it's 25 years this August, and that was at the Winter Gardens of Eastbourne. I remember it very, very clearly, very clearly.
We'll get back to the TWA in just a little while. I did actually want to bring up Premier Promotions, actually, because I can remember one of the first times that I saw one of your matches actually was for Premier Promotions at Worthing, at the famous venue. Right. And that was in a tag match, and that was you and Kerry Cabrera against the UK Pitbulls.
Right, yeah, remember that well. Yeah, it was a Christmas show, wasn't it?
That's right, yeah. And,
yeah.
So do you have any memories of the famous venue down in Worthing?
Listen, I love Worthing. Obviously, before I started physically wrestling, I was a second for Premier Promotions as well. When I say we've done the ring, the shows used to be down on the pier, when there was a summer season there, it was there every week, and John Fremantle was getting packed houses every week. It was really good. You had Nagasaki on one week, you had Haystacks another, Big Daddy another. You had names on every week. But actually, probably my fondest memory of there was to do with Haystacks. To be fair, when he was there, it was him and Klondike Jake drove down together, and he said, do me a favour, lad. Can you nip down the burger van for me and get me six double cheeseburgers with onions and 12 pints of full fat milk? And this was like 7:30 at night before the show started at 7:45. So I'm legging it down the newsagents and the burger store to get him some food. And he was grateful for that. And then he was at Dun the G and there the week after as well. He said, cheers for that last week. I said, do you want me to go down there tonight? No, I've already had sort of 3 breakfasts on the way down there. I was like, okay, no.
3 breakfasts and 6 double cheeseburgers. Wow.
That was one of my fondest memories there. And I was the second, and we had another lad. Well, there was another lad who was doing the other second in there. And Haystack said, "No, we want to go with you." Even though the other lad wanted to be a second just to say he'd done it, Haystacks was like, "No, we're going with him," which was quite actually because I saved his bacon because a punter attacked him. He leant over the top rope and started punching this punter in the face, and I managed to sort of get the punter back a bit quick. And Haystacks was like, "Oh, cheers, mate! You saved my bacon there." But that's one of my big memories there. And then obviously, I only wrestled there a few times. I wrestled Doug Williams down at the pier a few times, and then obviously I moved to the assembly halls. which was a nice venue, but it wasn't the Pier. The Pier was the ultimate wrestling venue at Worthing. Things started going down a little bit at the assembly halls. But John Freeman still put good shows on there. As I say, me and Kerry against the Pitbulls. I wrestled Doug Williams there probably 5 times. I wrestled Paul Burchill. I think I even beat Paul Burchill there. When I was many moons ago, when I was the Masked Emperor, we done a series of matches with Robbie Brookside, which ended in the Emperor being demasked. We done 8 matches, me and Rob Brookside there. Worthing holds a place in my heart. And if John Freeman will ever sort of give up promoting shows, I would try my hardest to book a venue at Worthing and run a show there for sure.
So you were talking about wrestling every single week. I mean, before COVID, usually you maybe see shows at least once or twice a month, something like that, or once every other month, so forth. So going back and doing it every week, I mean, that's probably where you learn your craft, right?
Yeah, definitely. Well, at that point, John Fremantle was really busy. He had lots and lots of shows. He had Eastbourne every Tuesday night, Bournemouth every Wednesday night, and Worthing every Thursday night for the complete summer season, plus every half term. So I was on all the shows. Whether I was Chris Kay or the Emperor, we managed to alternate that I'd done every show. Every 3 nights a week. Plus, most Saturdays he would have had shows as well. At one point, I know he's not very busy now, but at one point, Premier Promotions was a busy promotion. And I learned lots. He put me on with so many good wrestlers. I've wrestled Mel Sanders, God knows how many times for him. Steve Gray, Mel Stewart, Pretty Boy Mel Stewart. Oh what a talent he was. He's pretty much taught me everything I know. And if I could have one more match with him, it'd be amazing. I know he was 80 last week, but a
bit difficult, but
Oh no, he's a top guy. And so many matches with him. Every time I come out the ring, I learn something new. Brian Maxine, Sid Cooper. I love working with Sid Cooper. Great characters, great professionals, and ultimately it was a pleasure to share a ring with these guys.
Seems like as well, I see things a lot differently now compared to back then. There seems to be a lot of, especially back then, there was a lot of men, if that makes sense. As where a lot these days, there's a lot of young kids that sort of coming into the sport these days, and
definitely. So don't get me wrong. Everyone's got to start somewhere.
Absolutely,
it is a little. I don't know quite how to put it. When you go to a show, if I was going to go pay to a show now and pay for £12 for a ticket and see 5 matches of young lads, I'd feel pretty disappointed. Don't get me wrong. 1, maybe 2 matches of good high flying, technical wrestling, brilliant, absolutely fine, nothing wrong with that at all. But ultimately, the punters want to see a bit of blood and thunder. They want to see an ultimate monster, a villain's villain, and a proper wrestler. So it's all very well. You're having a Steve Gray versus Johnny Saint match, absolutely perfect. You could not fault it, and you can watch it all day long. But you also wanted a Drew McDonald versus Johnny Wilson, or someone like that. Finlay versus Danny Collins, Rocco versus Danny Collins. They're the matches that people actually want to see. I think like I say, I try to put a good wrestling match on most of my shows. A goodie versus goodie. But just recently, punters don't really want to see it. They want the booyah, don't they?
Yeah, I'm a big believer in variety in wrestling as well. So, I mean, there was a couple of shows that I did quite a while before lockdown anyway, and it was just one particular show. I won't say who it was, but it's just match 1, match 2, match 3. They all seem very samey. And all the guys, no disrespect to any of the guys, but they've all got the same sort of physiques, a similar kind of moveset, etc. And you just think there's nothing after the crowd's burnt out.
That's it. I done a show. I won't say who it was for, but we done a show in Hazelmere a couple of years ago, and there was 4 matches on, and 3 of the matches were every single the 6 guys that were in the 3 matches were under 12 stone, and 3 matches were very, very, very similar. Okay, the main event was me against Carl Atlas, right? With me as a villain against Carl Atlas, and the heat we got was absolutely fantastic. You know, they were getting quieter and quieter through the first 3 matches. He put me and Carl Atlas on, and you know, we were just us being big lads, you know, making hell of a noise when we're getting slammed, and you know, when we're moving around, and you know, the heat, you know, doubled. It was you know, and they needed it. You know, they needed it.
I'd say that's amazing to know. It's. I just wish, and sometimes when you imply that information on some of them, you know, they don't always. They see it as like you're offending them, sort of thing, you know. But that's why I think it's always helpful to. Like I do a lot of stew shows for EWW when I'm doing the commentary.
Oh,
and it's always good to have people like Jace there, you know, giving advice and things like that, and Phil Bedwell, all those sort of guys. So
yeah. Well, me and Jace go back years anyway. Me and Jace go back, you know, a long time. We've been good friends for a long time. Yeah, when I first started doing the holiday camps, Jace was there. You know, he lives around the corner from me now. Yeah, Jace and Aaron's been really good friends. But yeah, no, they're great people to have around, you know. And you know, like you say, variety on shows. You know, whenever I promote my own shows, I try to have a variety. You know, I when I do gospel, I do gospel 3 or 4 times a year. Yeah, we always sort of do a flatliner match, so it's a bit of comedy. We always have a high flyer match. We always have 2 real big guys, roughing it out. Then we'd obviously do a pitbull's tag or something like that. So it's a bit of everything. James Mason, people like that. Everyone wants to see these guys. I like to have a nice variety because ultimately I want people to keep coming back.
Exactly. And talking of that, so the SWF has been around for, how long is it now, Chris?
Yeah, it's just under 12 years. Just over 12 years. Just
over 12 years. So what made you go from being a wrestler to being a promoter?
Well, John Fremantle used to run Gosport. Right. And in the venue we do in Gosport, there's 2 halls. There's a little theatre that holds 150 and there's a ballroom that holds 500. Now John Fremantle used to do the little theatre, and he done okay, but the shows again got very samey, and punters were sort of easing off, not going, and it got right down to about 30 or 40 people. He said, "Listen, I'm not going to do Gosport no more." I said, "Well, can I have a go?" So I done the show with again a wrestler that I'm not going to mention, who we done the joint show, and he ended up ripping me off by about 700 quid. Okay, so that's what I'm not going to mention.
Wrestling, wrestling for you.
Yeah, quite a lot of people know who he is. But yeah, he ripped me off about 700 quid. So he didn't want to obviously do a show with me after that because he knew that I found out. So I took Gosport over, and I worked my absolute arse off promoting my shows. Paper articles, leaflets. I poster like mad. Facebook. The amount of tickets we sell on Facebook is incredible. I work
great tool to have, isn't it? But...
Oh yeah, it's fantastic. I work really hard, and I done my first 2 years in the theatre, and I done probably done 10 shows in them 2 years. I have Robbie Brookside on 3 of them. Danny Collins on one of them, and out of them 10 shows, I've done one show which was all girls. And it was awful. Nothing wrong with the wrestling. The show itself was good, but punters didn't want to see an all girls show, and I only had about 70 in. And although I still made money, it hurt. You know what I mean? Because I don't want to be having to struggle. I don't want to sit there behind the stage and it's only 70 here tonight when I'm used to 150. So once I've done that girl show, I said, that's it, we've got to get these punters back. And the show after, I put Robbie Brookside on, and in a 150 seater, I had 240 people turn up, and I had to turn 70 people away or 80 people away, which was that hurt. So I had a meeting with the people at Thorngate Hall, and I said, listen, can we sort of go into the ballroom, because they actually don't want wrestling in their ballroom there. It's their pride and joy. They've got £150,000 floor. In the theatre, if a little bit of damage, it doesn't hurt anyone. But they've got a stunning floor at the ballroom, and they really don't want wrestling in there. But I've worked at the Thorngate Hall for goodness knows years. Even when John Fremantle done it, I was good friends with the manager there, and they said, we'll put you into the ballroom. And now we've done 15 shows there, and never had under 300 in the 15 shows we've done there. So
that's brilliant.
Excellent. And I've just signed an agreement that I'm the only wrestling promoter to put on shows there as well. So it's all good. I've got a bit of future on that one, so we're okay.
Brilliant. That's good to know. And one thing I love about the SWF roster, again, is going back to the whole variety thing. And I think it's a great way of learning the art of British wrestling as well. It was the last SWF show I remember you saying earlier was you had the likes of Johnny Kidd, Blondie Barrett. Was that your intentions from the get-go? And of course, it's working as well because, as you said, you're still drawing the punters.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, like I say, I always try the variety. Mal Sanders has done a lot of shows for me. Steve Gray's done some shows. Johnny Kidd's done a few shows. But yeah, my one aim was to put the Johnny Kidd Blondie Barrett, because it's the first match I ever saw. Yeah, when I was young enough to actually sit down and watch the show, Johnny Kidd against Blondie Barrett. I mean, they've worked each other thousands of times.
Funny enough, it was we used to get the wrestling going on at the Dagenham Town show. Outdoors when Tom Thumb was putting on shows there, and Blondie and Johnny always used to come down there, and that was one of my first experiences of seeing wrestling live, and I was just mesmerised by Blondie Barrett, just the way how he could get the crowd in the palm of his hand.
Oh, it's amazing, isn't it?
Yeah, and you know what? He always stuck with me as well. I only met him briefly, and I think at the time I must have been about 7 or 8, but I remember just being so blown away by the whole thing, and used to pack the place under the tent. Those guys did as well. Yes, as I said, there was Johnny Kidd, there was Blondie Barrett, and there was Spider-Man there as well. I remember as well.
Yeah. Well, when Tom Thumb used to do shows on the Isle of Wight, and I used to do the ring for him. And I always used to say, do you need another worker or referee? He said, no, we're all right at the moment. Just do the ring. But we done one show in Cowes on the Isle of Wight for a carnival. And he said he had 4 wrestlers. So I was like, that's okay. I won't bother taking my stuff. Stupid, I know. She'd always take your wrestling gear. But I didn't bother taking my stuff. And as it was, Ian Diamond, it was meant to be, had food poisoning or something that week and couldn't do the show. And Tom Thumb was like to me, he said, Kris, have you got your stuff? I was like, no, not at all, mate. Sorry. He said, well, we need to do 2 singles and a tag. We need you to work. I was like, well, I haven't got my gear. And how small Tom Thumb was. He lent me one of his green leotards, and it was the most obscene, revealing thing you've ever seen. And it was absolutely amazing. And even now, Tom Thumb always says, "Remember the green leotard, Kris?" And when it's my birthday, he said, "I've got to go on and send the green leotard down you." And it was just the most. It was just vile. I mean, I was against Blondie, but it was like the smallest leotard, the tightest leotard, the most revealing leotard you've ever seen. Because don't forget, he's tiny, and I'm not. But yeah, that's just a little bit fun. That that'll always stick with me and Neil for sure. And Blondie, even now. How's a green leotard? Why haven't you bought yourself a green leotard? You had to be there. You had to be there.
I couldn't.
And to top it all, the ring was on a hill. So every time you took a bump on the ring, every time you took a body slam, you rolled out the ring. So it was fun from start to finish, really, that show.
And of course, Blondie, I suppose. He had, was it Dunk the Clown, wasn't it then, or something like that?
Yeah. Oh, again, I remember doing Portsmouth Guildhall for the TWA, and I was in a mask myself as a good guy against the Rock and Roll Express, and then I went as myself as a villain against Dunk the Clown on loads of shows. We've done that. Great times, great memories, and it was all good.
That's great. One thing I was going to ask you as well, actually. So, as you said, it's just over 12 years with the SWF. So, how did the partnership come about with Kapow?
Right. Well, really, because Kapow's always hired me in the ring. So I've always been very close. I've been very close to Carl Atlas, because obviously Carl Atlas used to be a partner in Kapow. Carl Atlas used to work for a real sort of down in the dumps promotion down in Southampton, and he's too good to be wrestling in front of 3 or 4 people. You know what I mean? At the Chamberlain Leisure Centre in Southampton. Again, that's another venue. That had 4, 5, 6 people in the venue. The last time our wrestling pro was there before me. They had 10 people. I've got pictures. 10 people. Jake McCluskey, Carl Atlas. Billy Gunn was there. In front of 10 people. I took it over. I know the manager of the Chamberlain Leisure Centre really well, because I'm a DJ as well. I do kids' parties, discos there. I said, Leo, let me do it. Oh no, we want to stick with this promoter. I said, don't be so daft. You know what I mean? You got to get me here, because I'll put all my efforts into it. And I'd done the show there. And my very first show, I had nearly 300 in. And she says, "Wow, we've never had this many people in here before." I said, "I told you, I told you." But yeah, the back to the partnership with Kapow. I've got a real lot of time for the owner, Will Armstrong. Majorly buff. He is such a top guy, and he's very, very business orientated, and he wants to do well.
Something lacking these days as well is people being more business oriented when it comes to running the promotion as well.
Yeah, no, definitely. And he really likes the way I promote. Like all the enthusiasm I've got, the efforts I've got. Like I said, I don't like failing. There's nothing worse than failing. And I don't like it. If I sit there and I've got 30 people in, I think, what? I've done something wrong here, and I would fix it. I don't like failing at all. And he sees that. I mean, he sees my energy with the promoting. And we sort of got together. We've been good friends, and we're getting better and better as friends, to be honest. I get on really well with all the Kapow guys. I've taught quite a few of them guys quite a lot. I do quite a lot of seminars down at Quality Wrestling Academy in Havant, Rishi Ghosh's. Rishi Ghosh's place, which a lot of the Kapow guys go to. So they're like the next family to me. They're a little more wrestling family. And we said, why don't we just do a few shows together? It was just a thought really that we could perhaps put our minds together and get better venues, because Kapow used to do like little scout huts and things like that, and to be fair, the guys are too good for scout huts and things. I said, let's put our mind together, and we could start doing some half decent venues. And he said, okay, that's absolutely fine. Obviously, not Gosport's my baby, so I'm not partnering that one.
You're keeping that one tight, aren't you?
Gosport's mine, yeah. But we got together. We done the K2 in Crawley last January. Again, we both met up. We done postering. I chased all the papers. Every single paper in the area I done, and got articles with. We had nearly 400 in there. For our first show, and K2 were made up. We done a little theatre in Portsmouth, the Groundlings Theatre. We could have sold that out 3 times. It only holds 180 people, but it's cheap to rent. It's a nice theatre, but we could have sold it out 3 times. I said, we can really make it work. Well, we can really make this work. Then obviously we booked Gangrel to come over for a tour. We had a week-long tour booked. But obviously COVID come along and ruined everything.
Damn you, COVID.
Including the airfare, because American Airlines wouldn't give me a refund, so that's not very good.
That makes it even worse.
Yeah, no, definitely. But I've got a voucher, so I intend to bring Gangrel over at some point, and we really want to do a tour. We've booked some dates this week for hopefully when Project Restart starts. We will bring it once we can get venues up to capacity and we build it back up again. We've got every intention of bringing an importer two over to do tours with us.
Yeah, I think that's going to be the challenge at first. Is gaining the public's trust again to make sure that we're not even just like the promotion itself, but obviously the venues are also COVID secure as well. I think it might take some time, but it will work.
I think the biggest part will be getting people back. I think they are going to be a lot of people, especially elderly people who actually like the wrestling. I mean, at Gospel, I get a lot of elderly people watching the wrestling. I actually don't think we'll probably see them again, because I just don't think there'll be the faith and things on coming back, even if they've had their injections. I'm not entirely sure that the elderly guys will come back to shows, because I don't know if they feel safe to.
I completely understand that in a way, but at the same time, I feel like a lot of people are just, begging for just some sort of positivity out there, and it's just something to liven up their day. So whether it's wrestling, theatre, movies, whatever it is, So I think, I'm more along the lines of as soon as a show gets announced, I think people will be like, yes, finally, I will buy a ticket to that.
Yeah, no, definitely. Yeah, definitely. Even when I announced this week that we've got some venues booked or some towns booked, people say, "Right, moment tickets go on sale, let me know. We'll purchase them. Actually, we sold quite a lot of tickets for the Gangrel tour. Not one person's asked for a refund. They're all carrying the tickets over. They said, even if it's not Gangrel, if these tickets can count for the next show, we're holding fire. We'll hold back. So that's quite nice. So. Because it cost us a few quid giving everyone refunds, but we've had to give very, very, very minimum back. which is a result, to be fair. It means they're going to come to the shows, doesn't it?
Exactly. So, Kris, where did your journey begin with the TWA then?
Right, the TWA would have been that little holiday camp at Wick Ferry in Poole when we supplied the ring for him, and Scott there, so like I said, he said, we'll give you a little bit of tryout. He said, I don't get much money from the camps. He says, so we'll put you on who's free. I went, oh, brilliant, thanks. Like I say, he put me on Adrian Finch one week, John Prater the next. And I've done quite a few shows for the TWA, ever since, to be honest.
That's brilliant. That's fantastic. Have you got any memories, of course, especially wrestling at the very famous Southampton Guildhall?
Yeah. My biggest memory is actually Southampton Guildhall. I was on with a guy called Mad Dog Kimball, Joe Kimball, who used to come to the ring with a rawhide bone. And Scott put me on with him, and he went out and done his American G. And Robbie Brookside said to me backstage, "Listen, mate," he said, "he's really stiff." He said, "If he stiffs you," he said, "I'm going to be watching." He said, "You make sure you stiff him back." I was like, oh, yeah, I think I was probably about 15 years old. So, all right, Rob, thanks. But have you seen the size of him? He was huge, muscles galore, and he looked the right mean guy, you know what I mean? And Rob was saying, "Yeah, I'll be watching you." He said, "Because I know that I'm wrestling you lots coming up." He said, "I'll stiff you." He went, I was like, "Sorry, language." He said, "But I'll stiff you."
That's fine, we'll bleep that out.
He said, "I'll stiff you." And I was like, "Oh, Rob, I want to see how it goes. We'll see how it goes." And it was hard. The Southampton Guild was sold out, so there were 1,300 people there. And I had an okay match with Joe Kimball until he took my leg on the outside and hit me with his bone. And I thought he was gonna rig it, and I thought, this rawhide bone was about 3 foot long. I thought he was going to rig it and sort of hit the apron rather than my leg, but he actually hit my leg with it. And until this day now, whenever I wrestle or run or work in the gym, I come up in like a red rash on the side of my leg, and that's from where the bone hit me. So it obviously damaged the nerve or something just inside the top of my thigh. But even to this day, it looks like a birthmark. But it's not. It's where it hit me with this bone. And whenever I sweat, whenever I get hot in the shower, in the bath, this little red rash comes up, and that's where it hit me. So that's my memory of Southampton Guildhall.
Yeah, he's left you with something there for you to cherish for the rest of your life, by sounds of it. So.
Yeah. I've got quite a few memories of Southampton, to be honest. Me and the Flatliner for Scott done a Young Wrestler of the Year tournament when we were both about 25. And Flatliner was actually a heel against me. And
that's scary, isn't it?
It was god awful. It was awful. But we got by, and I remember the Flatliner doing a leg drop off the top to become the Young Wrestler of the Year at 25 years old or 30 years old, or whatever it was. It might have been 25. Yeah, that was all right.
And I bet he looked exactly the same.
He did, yeah. He hasn't changed. It's me that's changed. I've just lost a bit of air.
So, Kris, the TWA will be returning as soon as we're allowed to put shows back on again. And the TWA has announced quite a roster on its return, including yourself, the Flatliner as well, Crusher Curtis, Jody Fleisch, Johnny Storm, Tony Spitfire. So, is there anybody that you're looking to get in there with on your return to the TWA? Any old faces, or anyone that you've actually not had the chance to get in the ring with just yet?
Well, listen. It depends what sort of Chris K you get on the day. To be fair, if I'm a happy Chris K, then I'll quite happily sort of take out Crusher Curtis. Me and Crusher Curtis got a bit of heat for all our shows along the South Coast. But if I've got the ump, then obviously I'd be heading for the Flatliner or someone like that. Johnny Storm, Jody Flash, someone like that. Someone that I could just give a slap round the face to and finish him off. Really, I've got heat with a few. Crusher Curtis, Flatliner, anyone like that. I'll wrestle anyone. It depends what Chris K turns up on the day.
Well, I hope Scott's listening to this, because whatever you're going to be on that day, I think he'll have his paper and pen ready.
Yeah,
so.
Right.
Well,
bear in mind, I'm nearly at my heaviest at the moment. I'm nearly 21 stone, and I've not been 21 stone for a lot of years. So I'm not necessarily wanting to lose it, but I'm just saying, whoever I get in the ring with, I better watch out.
There you go. You heard it loud and clear, people. So watch your backs. That's all I'll say. Kris, before I let you go, sir, where can people find you on social media, or any SWF related social media? Where can we find you?
I knew you'd ask me that, which I'm absolutely rubbish at. Right, okay, you can, on Facebook, you can look me up, Kris K Wrestler. You can also look up at SWF Wrestling UK on Facebook. On Instagram, it's ChrisK19, and on Instagram also SWF Wrestling UK. Catch me, hit me a message if you want our shows to come to a town near you as well as the TWA. If send us a message and we'll sort you out.
That was a lovely plug there, Chris.
I know, it's good, wasn't it?
Fantastic.
Proper promoter, mate. Proper promoter. I do everything I can to promote shows.
Proper. Well, Chris, thank you very much for your time, and we will see you very soon at a TWA show.
You will indeed, mate. Look forward to it. Can't wait to get back on the road.
Absolutely. Thanks, Chris.
Cheers, mate. Bye-bye now.
Thank you, mate.